Your arms will get tired.
Okay, so we did, Becca, what section do we do?
We did Act 2, Scene 3.
Oh yeah, it is.
298, 342. So the scene was after Cassio attacked Rodrigo when he provoked him when they were on guard. Iago is trying to comfort Cassio and give him ideas of how to fix his relationship with Othello. And he's basically planning the idea of involving Desdemona in this whole issue between Cassio and Othello to kind of turn it into the downfall of Othello.
Okay, so I'm going to read the little excerpt that we have for you. So, you or any man living may be a drunk. At time, man, I'll tell you what you shall.
Iago.
Okay, it's Iago speaking. Our general's wife is now the general. May say so in this respect, for that he hath devoted and given up himself to the contemplation, mark, and denotement of her parts and graces. Confess yourself freely to her, importune her, help to put you in your place again. She is of so free, so kind, so apt, so blessed a disposition, she holds it a vice in her goodness, not to do more than she has requested. This broken joint between you and her husband, entreat her to splinter, and my fortunes against any lay worth naming, this crack of your love shall grow stronger than it was before. Oh my God, it's so long.
That's not part of it.
Okay, I'm not reading the rest of it, so go ahead.
Okay.
It's so long.
So, the theme we talked about was manipulation. It's kind of an obvious one. Throughout the scene in the book, Iago manipulates the truth. He doesn't lie necessarily, but he tells a bunch of half-truths and truths that may not be what they seem to create the honest Iago illusion, and that allows him to maintain his reputability, which is basically how he is able to bring down Othello. So, first quote. This is the one I did, right?
Yeah.
How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his goal? So this is a rhetorical question. It's a question that he's asking and not really seeking to receive an answer because he's giving a soliloquy at the time. He uses this kind of to show that he's just trying to tell Cassio what he should do. And he's saying basically I'm giving him the best advice and telling him to go talk to Desdemona to patch things up with Othello. But he's not telling Cassio that he's going to go tell Othello that Cassio and Desdemona are having an affair. So that's kind of where the half-truth comes in, and that's where, yeah, that comes from.
So the second quote I picked out is, this broken joint between you and her husband, entreat her to splinter, and my fortunes against any lay worth naming. This crack of your love shall grow stronger than it was before. So this is a metaphor, kind of comparing the relationships to either like a joint or a bone, and how they can crack and splinter and break if not treated with care or properly. So the first part is talking about the relationship between Cassio and Othello and how that's a joint that has worked together in the past, but obviously they have to fix it now. And so it progresses to include Desdemona and how Cassio's love for Desdemona will grow stronger, but he needs to fix it in order to hopefully get back to being on better terms with Othello. But this is part of Iago's manipulation of saying you need to go talk to Desdemona, you need to, confess yourself to her and let her help fix things, but it's all part of his manipulation to end Othello.
All right, so the last quote is the one I did. And out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. So it took a little bit to find this one, but this one's called zoomorphism, which is assigning animal characteristics to a human person.
Or like object or objective characteristics, like the characteristics of a net.
Right, so what it is here is like, even though Iago's saying this, like he's he is actually not referring to Desdemona as the one that she'll enmesh them all, but her goodness. So he's saying that he will turn Desdemona's good intentions, if you look in the context of the passage, into a net that will enmesh everyone involved. So by turning her good deeds into those with animal qualities, he's partially like hints that Desdemona's a beast, which we've heard about before, and that comes up multiple times with the black, taming the black ram and the ewe. So this is both like an insult and applied to his own wit, because he's actually the one that's like spinning the net, or like you think of it as like a web of lies, like a spider. And he's the spider that's like feasting off Desdemona's good intentions and turns the energy that he gets from feasting off Desdemona's life to better himself and ensnare all others that he needs to by spinning a web of lies and deceit.
You're proud of that, aren't you?
That plays back
Huh?
into our theme of manipulation.
I like saying that. That's the last one. Yay!
Short and sweet.
Yay.